coming right there.
That's when I realized that Klondike bars were not a good solution for herpes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh
shit, I think we're live.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm not Carl and that's not Carl. so we got a terrible surprise for you today. I think most of you guys already knew, but Carl's gallivanting about in his Jeep. Doing the Rubicon Trail. So they're out having a good time, and Carl deserves a break. Breaks are good. So I don't know why I'm on here, to be honest with you, because Randy and Steve were gonna do the show, but I happened to be here. And Steve happened to not be here, and so there he is. There he is, just late as always. What's up, brother?
Hey, this is your seat. I'm not supposed to be here.
Yes,
I'm
you
supposed
are.
to be over there. He's supposed to be here.
Honestly, here's the thing. I took Steve's seat because Steve's late. I was here by happenstance, which I can tell you about. Steve's taking his pants off, so give him a second.
Yeah, because you have a Toyota Tundra truck that
I have
works.
a Tundra.
You have a Toyota Tundra that works. I have a GMC 2500 diesel Duramax that doesn't.
Oh.
So, give me a break.
You know what, brother?
Get a Tundra.
We love you anyway. We're going to get Steve a Tundra, too. You set me off on this Tundra thing because a few years ago I was like, oh, man, that red truck, I want that thing. And now he hates me because mine's newer.
Yes. I've owned every truck that's been made, pickup, 4x4, and I've never had one that can beat the Tundra, and that's why I'm staying with it. It smokes anything else I've had.
That's what I thought about my 2500 6.6 Duramax with the Allison transmission.
So here's, I'll tell you what. For those of you guys who don't know, I got a new truck, and it's thanks to A, Carl, and B, a lot of you guys who are awesome. All you guys who are helping us out on Patreon and all that. Truly thanks.
No,
and I'm putting out another video for you guys tomorrow. I'm not going to stay here a lot because I got a flight to catch. I got a 4-hour drive now, and then a flight to catch in the morning. But so I'll catch people up on that. Do we have? Let's see. Carl is. Yep. Yeah, we're on live stream duty. I'm sorry, we're all slow, and as soon as Steve's ready,
No, I'm ready.
I'm gonna. Okay, so you want me to get out of your seat?
No.
Here's the deal. Love you guys.
I'm moving.
Randy, I love you, brother.
Love you too.
And you too, Steve. And
too,
I will
brother.
get out of your hair. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, I saw you right. You put the
I got a topper on the truck today. Today.
Nice.
And I made a little video on it for my Patreon that I haven't had a chance to put up yet because I literally recorded it on the way over here. So thanks for ruining my surprise, Steve. That's all good. I'm messing with you.
Believe me.
Randy, what are you up to? What have you been up to lately?
Just trying to get myself back in shape, actually. I got every project I wanted done, so I'm standing around like, God, I got to do something. Dumbass, you got to get yourself back in shape. So I started riding my bike again.
Okay.
And I got what they call a round trampoline. There's a name for it.
Round trampoline as opposed to a square one?
But it's a but it's a small one, but it's built really heavy duty.
Okay.
And what it does is help your internal organs and also helps your muscles.
How?
But by bouncing up and down.
He's
on it.
talking
You
about
don't
the
run on it,
small
you bounce
exercise
up and down
trampoline,
on it.
not the big recreation.
Yeah, no, I get it. But how does it? I get the muscle thing because you're bouncing around, you're flexing all the muscles, doing all that. How does it help your organs?
I don't know exactly how it does it, but it's supposed to. That's one of the things. That's
Really?
when I burnt that last parachute in. That's the physical therapist, and he was a chiropractor and the
Okay.
needle guy.
Yeah.
At Bragg, that's what he had me doing. He said that will help your internal organs.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Shake them around a bit.
Yeah, they've been blown up twice and all kinds of stuff and hitting the ground pretty hard. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing. I've got all the projects done for my wife.
Okay.
So I'm squared away, man. I can't believe it. So
That's awesome.
waiting for November for a surprise. In fact, Steve and I will be traveling together.
Where are you going?
Down
Down to Patreon in
Patreon, yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll have to meet you guys down there because I've had a dramatic change in plan that I told you about earlier today. As of last night, instead of finishing my little camper project and rebuilding my little trailer, I have a 5x8 trailer my cousin gave me a couple years ago. Tiny little high wall thing, and reframed a wooden box in there, put bitch-a-thing on the roof, sealed it up all nice, all that. Well, it's been sitting parked in the yard for a couple of years, and I opened it up the other day, and it's just full of mildew and all this crap. And so I pressure washed the whole thing, and I bleached the entire thing, and then pressure washed it again, and then I painted it all with Kills on the inside, and I just spent the last 3 days, mind you, I only started walking again a week ago from a back injury I'll tell you guys about in a second, so anyway, I was like, okay, I'm on a time frame. By next Friday, I got to have the whole project done with everything set, and I'm going off to Florida so I can bring my little camper so I have, something to sleep in and stay dry. And then this thing landed on me late last night. I had to book a ticket late last night. Tomorrow morning, I got to fly to do a job in New York State for the whole time, and then I'll fly from there directly to Florida for the parachuting. So I'm SOL on both the project and having something to sleep in while we're there. So it's going to be another one of those sleep on the ground RCPT gigs, which is awesome.
I told my wife about your back injury and that you were going to go back down and jump, but I'm not going to repeat what my wife said about you, because she said the same thing with me when I neglected to tell her that I had a 50-50 chance to end up in a wheelchair if I continued to jump. And when I went to the doctors, and he goes, "Hey, you thought about what I talked to you about?" I'm like, God damn, I can't remember. I don't know, Doc. What did you ask me? He goes, "If you continue jumping, you get a 50-50 chance of ending up in a wheelchair." And I never said anything to Lydia. I'm like, oh, shit.
So let me ask you a question. Anytime you jump, anybody jumps, don't you always have a 50-50 chance of ending up in a wheelchair?
Or dead.
Well, so I've, anybody who's been in the military long enough has messed up knees and messed up back, and typically a messed up head. Although in my case, it was messed up before the military. But so that's like a given, right? But I've got some back issues. Sorry, I'm looking for the picture to show you guys. I've got some back issues anyway. But then I burned in my parachute a few times last year, and twice within 2 weeks, I really burned in and didn't PLF. I fell on my ass, and I'm pretty sure I was at the time pretty sure I broke something, like broke a tailbone or whatever. Okay, there's nothing anybody can do about it. You just kind of sit on a pregnant girl pad for a couple weeks, and you keep going with your life. But then a few weeks ago, after our last class that we had, our little 6-day fiasco, I pretty much woke up dead the next day, and I had to go. Literally the next day, we parted ways. I was going up to near Fort Bragg to do this military expo as like a demonstrator, part of the team, and I never made it. I made it to Sue's house, and I called him up, and I was like, "Brother, I got to crash at your place. I'm fucked up," and so I literally couldn't walk for 6 days, and then I was able to get up slowly, made my way to the car after 6 days, got in the truck, drove my 7 hours home, and then I couldn't walk for another week after that. And so it was literally just last week that I started kind of getting mobile again. And so here's the MRI, and that's what's missing. Let me see if you guys can see this. There's my MRI, and you see how all the white things. For those of you guys who are as ignorant as I am about this, about spines, the white things going across there. Oh, where is it? Right there, right? So those are the discs going between your vertebrae. These little fuzzy things over here are the vertebrae. Notice there's a disc squished and missing. All the fluid is gone. And then L4 and L5 there are like canted forward towards my belly. So sucks to be me, and there's nothing you can do, and whatever. So
wear your back brace when you're jumping.
Yep. And thanks to you, I have a back brace. So yeah, I guess I'll wear it. It might be
the type you got. If you got the copper top, you can put it on your skin, so it'll be underneath your jumpsuit.
Right.
Yeah, you jump with a jumpsuit.
No.
Just clothes?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I'm not doing Halo, man. I'm doing Hollywood. And whoever, I caught one thing in there saying, hey, use a bug net and a, tarp and a hammock, whatever. We don't need that shit. It's Florida. It's warm. There are bugs, but all right, guys, you guys are awesome. I love you, brother.
I love you too,
I will
man.
see you soon. Steve, I love you, brother. All right, y'all have a good show.
Hey, before you go, do the penguin.
Do
The penguins. I never seen anything like that.
Hey, don't bore them, guys.
I never seen anything like that.
Don't bore them. Y'all stay Jewish.
But not a penguin. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, really.
Don't divulge that to the internet. By the way, the internet doesn't like those words.
The
those
worst
names.
thing you could have said was don't divulge it.
Hey, if you do it, you do it. I'm not responsible.
Tactical Rifleman Nation. What's up, people? What's up? Hey, safe travels, brother.
Thank you, brother. I'll see you guys in a week.
Roger that. How you guys doing? What's going on? Okay, so for the show tonight, since Carl is not here, we're going to get real. We're going to get real. Okay, so, Ozzy. There we go. I want to give a shout out to our brother Glenn Richardson over there in Australia and my good friend Graham Bote over there, keeping it real with the continued pandemic issue, shutdown kind of thing they have going on over there. Okay, so one of the first things I want to talk about, because whenever we do the show, sometimes you guys will ask questions and we'll start into answering the question, then we kind of get off on a tangent, and I always review the shows later on to see if I answered correctly or I said the right thing or provided you guys with the right information. So one of the ones I wrote down that I want to highlight is one of the viewers asked me about training. What kind of training would I like to do? What do I like to do in regards to shooting and that type of discipline? Most would say sniper training, because I started and ran the sniper facility for 5th Group on Fort Campbell, which of course when I say Fort Campbell, that means 101st Airborne, Task Force 160th, and all the units on Campbell. I drifted in my response, but one of the things that I do want to say is, when it comes down to any kind of firearms training, my preference is actually running pistol training. And the reason I say that is the resources required to run pistol training, basic marksmanship training, are not as immense as running sniper training. You agree or disagree?
No, totally agreed. But also mentally, my dad was a world champion long gun shooter, so I grew up with it. And I was one of Steve's instructors when he was the head of the sniper committee down at Bragg, or at Campbell, excuse me. But the amount of effort it puts into Steve, putting the classes together, us teaching it, is phenomenal. It's way too hard to do sniper stuff. It drives me nuts.
I can take one of you guys or a group of you guys, very similar to the tactical rifleman training that you sign up for, like the pistol courses, the carbine courses, and I can pretty much run that without a lot of resources. When you run sniper training, and you have to understand the difference between training with a civilian trainer like Carl, Emery, Randy, the rest of them, Tactical Rifleman Nation, Tactical Rifleman, and so many of those other companies and gentlemen that are out there running that kind of training. In the military, when you run that kind of training, it is so much more complicated. For an example, okay, Carl's got this sitting on his desk, and this is a 5.56 round, okay, and it's sitting on his desk, okay. We walk in, and yeah, there's some ammo sitting on the desk. If this round was sitting on someone's desk in a military unit, and someone walked in the room and saw it, first thing they say is that live ammunition? And if that person said yes, they would lose their mind. People would go crazy. You have to understand how the military works, okay? You guys can go to, say somebody has a 5-day sniper course, and they tell you, this kind of rifle, you need 250 rounds of ammunition, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you either go to a local store or you go online and you order 250, probably 300 rounds of ammunition, okay? You throw it in your car, you throw it in your truck with your rifle, and you head out to wherever that training is being conducted. You get out, and they say, okay, for the first 3 hours, you're going to need 85 rounds. So you take 85 rounds in the truck, and you go to the training. In the military, it doesn't work like that, guys. Number one, sniper training, just the ammo, okay? The ammo is in this secured facility called the ASP, Ammunition Supply Point. It's got like 4 or 5 different gates of security you have to go through just to get to the warehouse with all the paperwork you have to pick up. Let's say for this week's training at the sniper locker, we got 24 students. Let's call it 10,000 rounds. Okay, 10,000 rounds of M118 LR. I have to have an ammo sergeant that's certified, been trained by the Army, certified. Okay, he then has to have all his credentials, identification at the ammo supply point from this point on, called the ASP. So he has to have his truck and his trailer has to be certified to carry ammunition. And there will be, a lot of you guys have seen on a military bases, they have these placards, that's what they call them, placards. There's some orange, white, green, and they have different numbers on it. So let's say you see a vehicle with a trailer that has an orange placard with the number 4 on it. That lets anybody know that that trailer is carrying 1, ammunition, and 2, the classification of the ammunition, which is ball ammo. If it was a different color placard and another number, that'll let you know it was carrying grenades or it was carrying artillery rounds, okay? Then they go into the ASP after you have scheduled this ammo, like, I don't know, sometimes 6 months out. So we start training on a Monday morning. So you would have to get that ammo on a Friday and drive it into what they call the holding station. You drive it to the holding station through these gates, and you leave your trailer there because you're not going to do anything with it Saturday, Sunday, but you need to get it out of there about 5:30 Monday morning. So you don't want to go through the whole process again of getting your ammo. You just say, I've gone through all the process of certification. I need to put my ammo in the holding area so I can go through the one gate, get my trailer, and head over to the sniper blocker or head out to the range. So just that portion of running sniper training is super duper complicated. I mean, it is super duper complicated. Okay? Now, you drove over to the training and you pulled your carbine out of your truck and you walked over to the line and everything else. No, in the military, it don't work like that. Those snipers, those soldiers are using their organic units, M24s. They have to go to the arms room that Monday morning, probably 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, okay? Draw their weapons. You can't put a military weapon in a civilian car or what military calls a POV, personally owned vehicle. So if that unit has one sniper going through training, they have to give that guy one Humvee to take that one rifle over to the sniper facility. So if I got 24 students and they coming from different teams and battalions within 5th Group and different squads and battalions in the 101st, there's probably 18, 19 trucks pulling in with guys taking out one M24. They take that one M24 and you walk into the facility and you go into the arms room and then you go through that whole process again. Okay, you are Sergeant so-and-so. You are from Bravo Company 2nd Battalion. Okay, that's your number so-and-so, so-and-so. And then you sign that rifle into the sniper locker arms room for the next 2 or 3 weeks, however long the course is. At the end of that day, you have to take that paperwork back to your arms room saying, I'm not going to bring this weapon back tonight because it's been signed into the sniper locker arms room. So when you go through all that and someone says, hey, you want to run sniper training? I'm like, no. I did it for 5 years. No. No. So to answer that question that I was asked previously is I love just being on the range with shooting handguns and shooting carbines and teaching marksmanship. And I don't mean, just blazing away. It's like Mr. White used to teach me. We used to shoot pellet guns and 22 rimfire. Because as Mr. White would always say, 22 doesn't lie. And what he was meaning by that is the 22 and the pellet rifle has such a low velocity. If you don't follow your marksmanship steps completely, being the last stage of that, being a follow through, a 22 or pellet gun is going to expose that. I mean, you're shooting 5.56, you're pushing 3,000 feet per second, and you see guys often do this. They'll fire around, pow, and you see their head come up. That round got out of that barrel so fast, they got away with it. With the 22 long rifle, most of them doing 1,100 feet per second. If you shoot pow and you move that head, that barrel's going to move. And your group is going to go everywhere. And you're going to sit there and say, oh, everything was fine, everything was fine. And it wasn't. So if you learn to hold hard with 22 and a pellet gun, which is doing 700 feet per second, you will add that skill that you truly need that's going to follow over when you start shooting high-powered rounds.
Also, it's cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
And grouping. Before I shot any of my large rifles, my dad would pound into us. We had pellet guns, and then we went 22s. We had the group. And Steve knows about group. Steve was anal about grouping, just like my dad. But the 22 does that. And downrange, when I brought my sniper rifle in country with me, I would bring one of my expensive pellet guns, and indoors I would train. I don't want the bad guys knowing I'm the sniper. So I would do my training, and it's the same principles. You're just applying it to the pellet rifle, and Steve's right. You make a mistake on that because it's low velocity, it's going to show up. But that's the whole thing, is being exactly the same. And if any of you there have been there when we've corrected you, you picked your head up. Because it's drilled into us. You're changing the harmonics of the weapon when you move something differently. You don't. It's just like your finger. You'll never see our finger come off that trigger until we're done to pull our finger completely off. It stays welded to it, even when it's cocking, resetting, excuse me. But, yeah, there's just a ton to it. I agree with Steven. He was a Nazi master. I was this lonely E7 working for him. So, but we put out good shooters, man. So.
Yeah. On our last show, or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we were at the Leatherwood Distillery, and a few guys were in the audience, and one of the guys, Joe Pruitt, came up to me. He goes, "Hey, you remember me?" I looked at him. I was like, "Man, kind of, sort of." I mean, he's got long hair, and he goes, "Joe Pruitt." I said, "Oh, yeah, I remember you." He said, "Man, you put me through sniper school." I was like, "Okay." Okay. Did I? Okay. I got 24 students per month, sometimes 36, depending on if the guy's going to roll out on a deployment. And, oh my gosh, 11 classes a year? And he said, "Man," he said, "I learned so much." He said 4 months after I graduated from the sniper school, I was overseas and I got my first confirmed. And it was everything exactly as you guys did at the training. I'm glad it worked out, because, and that was one of the reasons why, I convinced the commander to allow me to start centralized training, because before we started the sniper locker, every Special Forces ODA A team has 2 sniper positions assigned. Now those 2 sniper positions are in addition to their primary job, which, let's say 18 Bravo, okay, is a weapons sergeant. So a weapons sergeant has his other duties to do, and he's also a sniper. But the sniper can also be, like myself, I was an 18 Echo, combo. Carl was an 18 Delta medic. So in addition to being a medic, or in addition to being a combo guy, you're also the team sniper, which sometimes that conflicted, and sometimes, it's like, "Hey, we need you in Overwatch, but we also need you on comms with the helicopters and give them the signal to come in and everything else." So I'm like, okay, I'm on Overwatch, and I'm listening in for all the code words that are being put out on this mission. So, and a lot of times we had to certify. We had to do certifications, and a lot of the teams were failing. And when it came up during one of the meetings, staff meetings, and I basically told the battalion commander, I said, "Sir, you know what the problem is?" I said, "Our guys go to school, they spend 8 weeks in SODIC, okay, which is hard enough as it is, and then they come back to the team, and they might deploy on a JSET or MedCap or you name it, got nothing to do with sniper training, and they might be on that mission for 6 months overseas. And they might not even carry the sniper rifle with them, right? Or say like it's a D-mining mission, okay? And these guys have to get spooled up on mine detection, okay? So they can train the host country. So they don't have that training. And after you graduate SODIC, there is no follow-up training. Hey, you're SODIC qualified, you're a sniper. They're like, I haven't shot my rifle in 2 years, okay? So there's no remedials. So basically, I went to him, I said, "Sir, we have no remedial sniper training. So how are they going to stay up on the training, the rifles, and the whole thing? And with technology changing, we're now into lasers and thermals and all these different crazy Christmas tree reticles and all this other stuff." So he said, "What do you think we should do?" I said, "Well, we need to have a centralized training right here in the unit. The unit needs to give up people and the resources to do remedial training." And I actually was not thinking about myself. I mean, I was a team sergeant on a free fall team. I was good. I'm good, And about, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks later, Sergeant Major called me over and goes, "You're going up the group. You're going to be the sniper trainer." I go, "What? I got a team. We got a mission coming up." Blah, blah, blah. No, new team sergeant's going to go over there. You're going over here. So I was like, okay. So they sent me to the S3, which is training operations. And I sat there for about 3 months and did nothing. I knew all the snipers were on the teams, when the last time they'd been to school, when the last time you certified, but that was it. So I told him, I said, I can't do anything here. So they moved me over to the group support company. And surprisingly, a guy came in there one day, the group engineer, he said, hey, Sean Holland, I was told to come over here and take you over to your new building. I said, new building? A new building? For what? He said, oh, for you to run some kind of sniper training or something like that? I said, really? He said, yeah. The group had it on the list to Fort Campbell asking for a building, and you got your building. I said, really? So we hopped in a Humvee, and we drove over to the other side of the base, and he pulls up to the Fort Campbell prison. Yes, sirree. And I'm thinking that behind the Fort Campbell prison is going to be like, one of these little tiny buildings, you can have like a little school room and, stuff like that. And I was like, okay, where's my building? And the guy pointed at the Fort Campbell prison, all 20,000 square feet of it, and said, that's your building. I said, that big monstrosity is my building for sniper training. He goes, you got the whole prison, entire prison. I was like, wow. What I didn't know is that the prison had been shut down for about 15 years. Okay? So we went in through all the gates to get into the front door, opened the front door, walked into this place, and there was dust, mold, broken furniture, everything. And I started seeing shadows moving back and forth and stuff. I was like reaching for my like something's in here. They had some of the biggest freaking crew serve cockroaches you have ever seen. I'm talking crew serve cockroaches, okay? I'm not talking about those little things everybody like, oh, look, there's a roach. I'm talking about those kind of things that when a cat jumps out in front of it and it comes out of the shadows, the cat like, oh shit! Cat runs off. That's how big these freaking cockroaches were, okay? So that's how the sniper locker started. And once I signed for that building, I was given 90 days to start training soldiers. Oh yeah. One big raggedy building, me by myself, no rifles, no ammunition, no vehicles, no nothing. They said, you asked for centralized sniper training, you got it. You got 90 days. But as we say in 5th group, I'm from 5th group, it'll get done. And it got done. So that's one of the reasons why, I don't want to run this place. I don't like sniper training. It's resource intensive. So we're going to get into other things. I'm sitting here talking, I'm not answering any questions. Where's Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, stand by. 10 minutes, and we're going to click it on, okay?
What's
Video.
up?
Video.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Nick is standing by because I've told you guys out there several times, and you know how much I love you guys. And you know that I'm going to share things with you guys. If it comes to me, it comes to you. So, previous episodes, I've been telling you, witness me. Witness me. I'm bringing it to you. Tactical Rifleman Nation. Not to the firearm blog, not to Guns and Ammo or Shooting Times or all these other people running around on the internet like they know something. Well, as we say in my side of the world, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Okay? Not ask, ask somebody. Witness me, TR Nation. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to reach out to your boys. I'm talking about your boys. I'm talking about the ones that, man, be here for the game. Me and you. Hey, we're going hunting together. Me and you. Your blokes and your shields. Okay? Because I've been telling you, I'm bringing you something that you're going to see it. And I went out and reached out and grabbed it and got it just for you. And when you see this, you're going to want your boy or your girl or however you guys work it. Like, wait, I'm not ready. You got to see this. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to start texting and calling and tell them to tune in. Because I'm about to rock your world. I'm telling you. Witness me. Okay? Mad Max, Road Fury. Witness. I want you guys to witness. So, I'm giving you, now you got 8 minutes to reach out to your peeps and say, hey man, Steve Holland is saying, you better tune in because you want to be live to see this. You don't want to say something, oh man, did you see last night on this right here? And you go back and look at it. That ain't the way it works. You got to experience it. Okay? So, now I got 7 minutes. Okay? We're going to take a break for 7 minutes. And then you best be standing by. Because you're going to want to run to Walmart and get you some condoms when you see this. Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing. Yeah, witness.
coming right there.
Got me again. Waiting for Steve to show back up, man. I'm out of my element on this, guys. I'm trying to see if there's any questions. Read stuff here. You see anything specific? I'm not seeing.
Yeah, for the time being, any questions for Randy, just put them in the chat.
Yeah. Well, what the hell? Carl's gone. Steve and Carl got the gift of gab. Me, not so much, man.
I hear him.
Here comes Steve. Thank God. Saved by the bell.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, it's like.
Oh, we ready?
Yeah.
Ah, gosh.
I'll pull it up on you.
Wait. Are you guys ready?
You want a picture first, right?
You guys ready? Nick's he's ready to hit the trigger. Are you ready? Somebody say witness. I need to say somebody say witness.
Anaconda is my favorite snake to eat.
Alright, some people are saying witness.
Hit it. Oh my goodness. Witness that. Tactical Rifleman Nation. Witness that. Australia. Aussie with the lever action. Look at the trigger group, people. Look at the trigger group.
I'm gonna pull up the video.
No, can you put it to the side? Does it still be up and see us?
Yeah. Wait, you want this in frame of y'all?
Kind of, off to the side, or however you want to do it.
I get it.
Yeah. Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see it? Did you see it? Okay. But is it, are you getting it? Can you dig it? Your AR-15 upper receiver group. That's your barrel, your upper, your rail system on a lever action lower. No pistol grip for you left coast California hating Second Amendment people. No pistol grip. And all your AR mags. 5.56. Three on your blackout. 6.8 SPC. 350 Legend. Straight wall case for all the states that require you to have straight wall cases to hunt deer. Imagine your AR-15 upper and 350 Legend going on a lever action lower. That's right. Put it on pause, go to Walmart, get you some condoms, rub one off. It's okay. It's acceptable. You're a grown man. All right? Show him the video, Nick. Make it happen. Witness this. That's a 300 blackout upper. Drum magazine. AR-15 upper receiver, 300 blackout. Lever action. Witness! Witness! Go back to Walmart. Get you a big box. I'm talking about roll them out. Okay? Because you're going to be there for a while as it sinks in. Okay? Well, for those, I got extra large, but the rest of you guys, however, I get the gold packs. Yes. Nick, play that video again. Make it sink in for him. I told you should have went and got your peeps. So they can see it the first time. Not, oh, tomorrow I'll go bring up the video and what's the time mark I need to go to. You wanted to be here tonight to see this. 8 November. Tactical Rifleman Tuesday. TR Live. Nashville. Broadway Street. Redneck Riviera. Featuring Mr. John Rich and Mr. John Stryker Tiltmeyer, Mr. Sularoo, Mr. John Clements of Proof Research Barrels, and a couple other notorious celebrities in the firearms world, and Mr. Jeffrey Herring with his new design of the lever action rifle from Aries Defense Fight Light will be in the house, TR Nation. Oh my gosh, can you not wait? I know. Take a pill. Do something. Think about it. It's going to hit you. It's going to hit you. Doesn't matter. Long barrel, 20-inch SBC, 6-point SBC. Short barrel, 300 blackout. 16 and a half, maybe 18-inch, 350 Legend, pushing 180 grain, 35 caliber bullet, 2,000 feet per second, lever action AR upper. Or if you want to step your game up, you can go to the 375 SOCOM. People, drop the upper on. Drop the upper on. That's it. Now, just so you know, and this will be explained and shown on the 8th November show with Mr. Jeffrey Herring. We're going to show you, basically, if you're familiar with the Fight Light SCR, you know that it has its own BCG. Bulk carrier group for you. People that, whatever. So basically what you're going to do, you take your upper, right? Let's say 300 Whisper. Let's say you got one of the 300 Whisper. And you take your whole, complete whole upper, pull out your BCG, take your bolt out of your BCG. Then take this bolt, put it into the lever rifle BCG, drop them on, push the 2 pins, boom, there you go. 20 round magazine, 30 round magazine, drum magazine, all day long. All day long. What are your questions? What are your questions? So,
AR-10 version. For 308.
You know, you guys are amazing. I knew that was going to come up. I told Jeff Herring. I said, Jeff, I'm telling you, TR Nation, one of the first top 10 questions are going to be AR-10 version. Just for 5 Creedmoor. We got you. We got you. Okay? Let's just leave it at that. So you either tune in on 8 November. Of course, you tune in anyway. Or take some time out. Come to Nashville. Come to the show. Hang out with us. Get to see it. Get to touch it. Feel it. Pick it up. We'd love to have you. Big Tuna. What's my favorite question to ask them guys?
Well, one was asking about 4570. Would be nice, but
I have a 45-70 lever action, more than 1895 Cowboy. Beautiful rifle. I love it. I love it. I love it. However, 4570 ammo. Oh, man. Whew. Oh, my gosh. Pay my electric bill. Just buying 2 boxes. And I believe Randy will agree that this system puts you in a different category. Why? Because you're not feeding a tube anymore. Ammo runs dry, drop the mag, reach back, slap another mag in there. You can't do that with tube fed, people. Tube fed is dead. In this situation, tube fed is dead. And Steve Holland said it right now, tonight, on the show. Tube fed is dead. Now, of course, you know, my first one is going to be 6.8 SPC, but I'm definitely going to be leaning hard on that 350 Legend. Okay? Come to think of it. Okay. Gotta hit my button. Right? There we go. 350 Legend. 10-round magazine. I'm so bad at this. There we go. Ta-da! So, ta-da! Okay, go that way. 5.56, 350 Legend. Mouse caliber. Here, mousy, mousy, mousy. Here, little varmint. Here, Mr. Big Black Bear. Come and get some of this lever action 350 Legend. I'm liking it. Look at Randy smiling. Look at Randy smiling. If I can make Randy smile, it's a good day. Look at him. He's thinking about it too. He's like, man, Steve, woo. I'm thinking about that. Slapping a 20-round magazine. Told you. Should have called your boy. Say, hey man, better tune in. Better tune in. So we're gonna let this simmer with you guys for a little bit, all right? Because as I prep the team, the TR team, and everybody was like, oh, okay, Steve, yeah. I'm like, after about an hour or two, I started getting texts back. People were like, man, I'm starting to like what I see. It's starting to sink in. It's starting to sink in. Okay? So let it sink in. Let it sink in. So you have witnessed. Look for it. Nobody else has got it out there. Nobody else is showing you. This is us, TR Nation. This is us. Okay? Bringing it to you. Because you're part of it. It's us, we. That's all. Right? Okay. So, Randy, coming back to you on that one. You haven't been around while we've been doing this thing with the
300 Legend?
No, it's hard for me to even determine. I'm gonna just show you what I'm talking about because you have Randy hasn't actually like played with them, but we'll let Randy play with them. Show you guys. Where's that one? You talk to him. I'm gonna talk to Nick real quick.
Oh. Oh. All right.
Nick,
That's a pig sticker, as we call it back home. This is good for puncture wounds. If you fight with, I have big hands, so it's a little bit small for my hand. But if you fight with 2 knives like I do, there's nothing wrong with this because I'm not really cutting you with the second knife. I'm making puncture wounds. I'm just trying to disable you. This will do that The only difference is you can't slice with it once you puncture, but dang, that bad boy is gonna go places you don't want it to go. And also, it's small. And what I do with this, if I had one, get that back in there, it would go on my belt this way, so you wouldn't see it. Wouldn't stick up on my belt like that. I put it like that on my belt, so probably, so I grab it with my right hand, but it wouldn't make any difference. But put it that way across your back, maybe even to the front, depending on where you want to have it. But it's going to work a lot better being sideways, so it's not seen. This is for fighting. So knives, when something really bad should happen and you got to use a knife to fight with, the last thing you want to do is have your bad guy see what you're coming up with. That needs to be a surprise to him. It's not pretty either way, but you're giving a person the advantage of making some type of defense or move against you once he sees what you have. It needs to be a surprise. That's why I say you should act submissive and then explode at the end. You want to make them think that they've dominated the situation. Lots of times, I learned it in SEER school when I just got my butt handed to me. I'm not going to get into that, but I wish they would have gone over acting more and acting like you're complying rather than being defiant. Besides, knives in the gunfight don't work out real well, so you don't know what your opponent's going to have. But if that's all you got, it needs to be a surprise. If you have any chance of doing any damage with it and surviving. And I don't believe in escalating situations. I believe in de-escalating. I believe in being the gray man and only coming out of that gray man situation, that de-escalation situation, when it's life and death situation. And then he got to explode. I don't say that lightly. I scared my guys on my own team in combat with me, how I do things. But then I'm still here. I got parts missing, a bunch of stuff damaged, but I'm still here, so it can work pretty good. But avoidance is better than trying to get aggressive or showing how badass you are, because anybody can be killed, anybody can be hurt. So Steve's back. Thank God.
Oh, Randy, he love you, man. Here's another one.
Oh, dang. Okay, this one is set up to go in your gear. Yeah, now that's got a longer handle. That's got a bigger handle for me.
Yeah.
Like I was telling that other one, it's for puncturing, and I would wear it on my belt sideways. This one's meant to be in the gear. Matter of fact, on this one, I probably put this on my upper gear, on my plates or on my vest.
Right. Well, you know, and the other thing that, and I still haven't gotten an example for you guys yet. I'm still working on it, but he makes a T-handle version, so you don't have the long handle. It's like a lot of your punch knives. It's got the T-handle on it, so I like that one too.
The T-handle is really good for scrambling the brain. Excellent. That's done with my. This T-handle's done with my left hand. I have one where I carry it. That's a brain scrambler.
Yeah.
Or
well, the thing is, this is one of the few handheld systems that where you can punch 3/8 body armor. So if you got a bad guy, if you notice a lot of these mass shootings, the bad guys are wearing armor. Now you won't do plate, but if it just running 3/8, you can punch that. You know who makes that?
No,
You don't know?
don't tell me Emery does.
No.
Who?
Mark Woolman.
Mark makes these?
Yes.
Are you shitting me,
That's shit you not, brother.
That Yahoo, man.
That Yahoo. Mark Woolman. That Yahoo.
I'll be damn. Well, the other one has got the longer handle for my big hand. I like this small thing. Like I already told you guys before Steve came back. This would be worn sideways on my belt. I'm trying to get this in there. There we go. I'd be wearing this sideways on my belt, actually behind me.
For everyday carry.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I
And
told
that's the difference between the scabbard sheath, kydex, what do you want to call it? As Randy outlined, this is for your tactical belt, your tactical gear, okay, and this is the clip-on for civilian clothes, basically, where you can, like Randy said, he would wear it on his belt sideways, and then Mark also makes the one that's got the T handle, so you're going about down to here in length, because you know what I'm talking about, the push knives. Well, imagine this right here as a T handle push knife. Okay, here's the test. Now, put your hand out. Now, take this right here. Leave that hand out. Take it with this hand. Give me your right hand. And slowly lower it in the center of your palm.
Ow.
No, let the weight go.
No, hell no. Hell no. That'll puncture, that'll go through the skin. The weight of this, and how sharp that is, if I let the weight of it, it's going to punch a hole in my hand. Oh, hell no. Hell no.
Carl said the same thing. He's like, oh, yeah, let me see how sharp this is. And he's like, yeah, shit. You can't let it go. You cannot let the weight, this thing is so freaking sharp. You cannot let the weight, what do you think this weighs?
Yeah.
6 ounces, maybe? 6, 7, 8 ounces?
Oh, hell, more than that. But you know what?
But you can't, I mean, you literally, you're holding it. When you feel it, you're holding it. Because you can feel that when you start to let up on that weight, you can feel it's going to go right through.
In close within 4 feet, I could throw this in you in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but if you throw it, you never have it.
But I got another.
Yeah, he's got 8, 9, or 10 others.
Oh, man, because this weight back here is like an arrow, is going to keep pushing that bad boy. Ow. Ow, Mark, you little devil. Wow, that's badass. Get it in there correctly. Because I don't want to hurt myself.
I'm sorry, I can't pass. Questions on tonight. Doesn't look like. Checking the chat. Keep trying. Okay. Got Susan. I'm reading what you're saying about not being able to pass questions on. Copy. Yeah, Nick told me a couple of minutes ago. So I guess, Randy, if you see a question pop up, Randy or Steve, just read it out and we'll go from there. So, guys, again, our good friend up in New Jersey, Mark Woolman, Ops2, OPS2, or you can go Instagram at BT Engineering. And he was making these for the first responders up in New York City out of the steel from the towers that they recovered from the wreckage, and they brought Mark the steel, and he started making these.
I'm gonna go find Nick because there's questions we're not seeing. I'm gonna go find Nick.
Yeah, no. That's Nick saying that we're going to try to catch up on questions. Okay, so the. Okay, again, I know it's starting to sink in with you guys. 350 Legend, lever action rifle. Your upper can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
He said everything is right here,
Yeah,
so
that's what I was saying.
We'll go through a ballistic vest, yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
it will go through 3A. Yeah, it'll go through 3A.
I'm talking about level 3. Yeah, it's gonna go through.
Is that a spiral? Okay, this is not working. Randy, just if you see something pop up, you say, "Hey, Steve," boom, throw it at me. So, guys, anyway, when we talked about training, and I talked about the history, the legacy of how the 5th Group Sniper Locker was started. That was basically the outline. And again, I went over the ammunition requirements to move ammo on a military base or any kind of military facility, even if you're overseas.
You want to know how easy it is to get components for the 350 Legend?
Hook. Getting components for the 350 Legend, as I've mentioned with you guys in quite a few episodes, I'm here for you. I'm gonna work with you, but I'm not gonna do your work.
Yeah, someone.
It's this thing called Google 350 Legend upper receiver or 350 Legend barrel, and whatever comes up on the media device is going to have a lot more answers, a lot faster, and stay there a lot longer in your hand than Steve trying to say go to this company or that company or this company in regards to 350 Legend. There's a lot of companies out there that make them. I don't actually follow every company out there that does AR-15 stuff.
They want to know what is your favorite barrel length for the 350 Legend?
My favorite barrel length, I like 18 to 20. I really do. I like 18 to 20 inch. The 350 Legend is it's the ammo performance. You want your velocity. You know, I mean, not saying that a 16.5 inch is not going to work. It's going to work. I don't know what the velocity drop is going to be between like 16.5 and 18 and 20. Again, like I said, when we did the 6.8 SPC, we started with a 24-inch barrel, and we would shoot 10 shot groups across the radar down at the AMU. Cut it back to 23 inches, shoot 10 more 10-shot groups, and come back, hours later, cut another inch off and shoot it again. And until we're able to map the velocity and see where there's a difference. And you have to understand that depending on the blend on that cartridge, and that's all on the ammo maker, you're going to lose velocity or gain velocity, and at some point, it's going to become a trade-off. If I go, say, 20 inches and I get 2,200 feet per second, I go 19 inches and I get 2,100, 90 feet per second. I go to 16 inches and I get 2,050. Now, see, that was a big drop just for 3 inches. So you're losing 150 feet per second. So you have to know that. Of course, I know you guys aren't going to go out there and start hacking off barrels and shooting for velocity. But most of these barrel makers and the ammunition makers, they can pretty much give you, a sweet spot on that burn rate from that powder. Okay, then you take into account the bullet weight, because 350 Legend comes with 145 grain, 150. I think the 145 and 150 they call them target practice ammo. I know me and my son Brian, we shoot the 150s, and they're 4mm jackets. So obviously they're not necessarily for hunting. You can go up to the 165 grains. Now, as far as cost, I've noticed that like with the this is a 150 grain 4mm jacket. They run about $16-17 for a box of 20. When you get up to the 180s, 165, 180s with the hunting projectile on it, oh my gosh, the cost jumps up to $32, $35, something like that. But again, I mean, it's not like you're going to run out there and buy 2 boxes of 180 grains and that's 40 rounds, you're going to kill 40 deer or kill 40 hogs or kill 40 bad guys trying to shoot up a school or something like that. You just have to keep everything in perspective. But again, I kind of tracked the 350 Legend when it came out. Then my son Brian and I started shooting, and I really started to like it. I said, man, I really like this round. You know, it's to give you a good comparison. For years before we had the 40 Smith & Wesson, the 10 millimeter, and everything else, and actually before we were in semi-automatic, the 357 Magnum for law enforcement over all the Dr. Martin Fackler ballistic studies, how bullets perform on the body. The 357 Magnum 125 grain was called the man stopper. Okay. Bottom line, everything else out there. Of course, the 45 ACP was holding its own, but the 357 Magnum, that 125 grain bullet at about 1,300 feet per second, was called the man stopper. Okay, so you take the 350 Legend that's shooting a 165 grain, not at 1,300 feet per second, at 2,200 feet per second. I mean, it's just, you do the math. You think about it. If it's a man stopper out of a 6-inch barrel, pistol barrel, at 125, 1,300, what kind of performance is going to have at a 165 at 2,200 feet per second?
I got to go through some of these questions. The one, I saw a couple of them. CRKT has a bearded hatchet tomahawk, Warhawk, comes down around the hand. If you're asking me my favorite, that's it over everything else I've had, because when I bring my hand up into it, I can carve and do work with it. I don't have one here to show you, but that's the one. And I would wrap the handle, especially by the head, with leather to protect it. Then you asked about how accurate was our M16s in the military with iron sights. We shot out to 600 meters with them. I'll let Steve answer that, but I did offhand competition shooting.
Come on over here, Randy.
I did offhand competition shooting on a bet in Texas. I don't remember what the other guy had, but I just had my regular M16 with a 16-inch barrel. I'm the only guy that went out to 600 meters and hit the target, so it can do it, but we're shooting a man-sized target. So if Steve wants to comment on that, but 600 meters. You asked about the different jobs. Can you recap on the different SF jobs? Who does what? Geez, Steve's looking at something right now.
What was the question? No,
you want to go over our MOSs and what their jobs are for Special Forces.
The MOSs?
Yeah, it said, can you recap the different SF jobs are and who does what? What is 18? What is an 18 Zulu? That was Steve.
You got the officers who are 180 alphas and 18 alphas. Okay, the NCOs, you've got the 18 Bravo, which is the weapons. 18 Charlie, which is the engineer, or some people call him a demo guy, engineer demo. They can build it, they can blow it up. You got the 18 Deltas, which are the medics. 18 Echoes are your communication sergeants. The 18 Fox is your intel analyst. Now, the interesting thing about an 18 Fox is any of the other MOSs can become an 18 Fox. There's no Special Force qualification course, school designation for a Fox. Basically, the Bravo, the Charlie, the Delta, and the Echo, when they go to our Operations and Intelligence School at Bragg, which is a really long school, and oh my gosh, it's a pain.
It's an ass kicker.
OB, order of battle. And when they graduate, I was an Echo, okay? when our 18 Fox, who had previously been an 18 Bravo, left PCS to another unit, I was a senior guy out of the other MOSs, and I was ONI qualified. So I became the Fox on the team, and then, of course, the team reaches out to the company sergeant major and the battalion sergeant major, say, hey, we need another Echo because Holland is going to become the Fox. Okay? So now, when I became an E8, that's a Zulu. So when I became team sergeant, as a master sergeant, team sergeant, I became an 18 Zulu. Now the 18 Zulu is also a designation for the next rank, next grade up, which is sergeant major and command sergeant major. They're still considered by the Army Personnel Center as 18 Zulus. So if you see an 18 Zulu, he can be a master sergeant, or he can be a sergeant major, he can be a command sergeant major. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, this thing is called Google.
All right, he wants to know what's the effective range of your 6.8 special ball. Which mags do you recommend? Thank you for your service. And God bless.
Matthew Dion.
Yeah.
What's the effective range of 6.8? Okay, so I'm one of those people that I really kind of try to wrap my brain around when all these entities in firearms and ammunition talk about effective range. Because, I mean, you're going to box a 22 long rifle, they give you a warning, like 1 mile, okay? That bullet's going to go somewhere. Effectively, that comes to me, it comes to accuracy, okay? And you guys hear me talk about Mr. Joe White so often on the show because I mean he was our mentor, he was our trainer. He's the man. And I watched him one day because somebody challenged him about something on the range, and he ran the Fort Campbell, what we call sniper school, before we created 5th Group Sniper School. But their school was more of a marksmanship training unit. They were the marksmanship training unit, and their school. It was sniper school, but it's almost like Camp Perry style marksmanship, which is great. And someone challenged him one day on the range, and during the lunch break, he brought out a 45, 1911, 5-inch barrel. And I think the challenge was they hit a sandbag at 100 yards. And he asked the guy, I said, how many shots you going to give me? He said, I give you 1 magazine. 7 rounds. And I want to say Mr. White hit that sandbag with his 5th round. Okay? So, that being said, he took it to the next level. He told the guy, give me 2 magazines. I hit a sandbag at 200 yards. And by that time, all the students were coming back from lunch and everything else. And everybody was gathered around, and Mr. White was, doing azimuth and elevation on his 45. I think on the 12th, 13th or 14th shot, he hit that sandbag at 200 yards. Which brings me back full circle to not get on a tangent, but when you say effective range, max effective range, that comes down to accuracy, not only of the ammunition, the rifle, but also the shooter. Okay? So if I say the max effective range of a 6.8 SVC, the next question I'm going to ask you is, what ammunition are you using? Are you shooting 85s, 95s, 100s? Most commons are 110s and 115s. Hornet's got a 120. Then I got to take in your velocity off your barrel length and everything else. In general, if you're shooting 110 and 115s, I'd say 550, 600, easy. I remember shooting a demonstration for, I don't know what they're called today, the Alphabet guys on Fort Bragg, the North Fort Bragg people. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Those guys. I remember doing a demonstration for them on Range 19, and their guys came over, and we were shooting 16.5-inch Mark 12 SPRs, 18-inch Mark 12 SPRs, Same ones that were hijacked by Precision Reflex. Shame on you. Shame on you. And we were shooting out the 600 on the long distance range. And when I say KD range, known distance, that means that those are the ranges with the berms, 200-yard berm, 300-yard berm, all the way back to 600, and the guys are in the pits pulling down the targets. That's what I mean by known distance KD range. So if you land on the 600, you know it's 600. And those guys shot, they were shooting men of angle, 5-6 inch groups. And back then, there were no quote unquote 6.8 SBC bullets. I got Sierra to make the 115 Match King for that. We called it a cave bullet. I wonder where there were caves back in 2005. We had Hornady make the 110s, and we finally got that straight. That's another story, another sucking chest wound on my part. So if you're running a 16.5 inch gun, that's velocity. That's velocity and accuracy. I say 500, 600. I mean, I've had guys with 20 inch Mark 12s and 20 inch, 21 inch Remington tactical and light tactical. I've had guys shoot really good groups out of 800. Guys, so many factors in there when you ask a question like that. And I know you want a straight answer, just like, hey, Steve, just give me an answer, okay? 550, 600. 16.5 inch barrel, 550. 22 inch barrel, 600, 650. Something like that. And it depends on the ammo, okay? Right? So, Randy, that's what we're going to do.
Okay, I sharpen my knives every day. Somebody asked me that. I just got done sharpening the ones that are on me right now. I sharpen my knives every day because I use them. They're my tools.
Randy sharpens his knives every day. I'm telling you. He can be standing outside, you can be talking about something, the next thing you know, they put it away. And you stand by the truck smoking a cigarette, next thing you know, they put it away.
DRT makes them. I don't know the one, but I have a large hand, so they have a handle and a small diamond rectangle sharpening on it, and it's got a handle you hold. Those are my favorites that I use. DMT.
Speaking of favorites, what do you think of this?
All right. Bustle.
Bussy.
Who makes this one?
Bussy.
Don't know that guy, man. I mean,
You know Bussy.
Okay,
Bussy Combat Knives is a company that made all our knives back in the 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we had them design the 1/5 group knife that we gave to all the Gold Star families.
Oh.
The guys that got killed in combat.
Yeah. Okay, there's several good things on this. Is one that you can do, make a spear out of. So you've got your points here that you can attach to. You can also attach through these. These holes go, I don't know how you show that. Goes all the way through. You got your finger up there so you can get in and do work on it. For fighting and blocking other knives, it's good to have the stuff here. The only thing I got used to fighting and doing stuff with emery, and I like the jimping where it's cut out for my finger to rest on it. Then I can reference where my knife, where my knife is, my blade's pointing. I always want this guard down here because that's where I'm going to be blocking. This, you can do a lot of work with this bad pup, so it's got some weight to it.
They make that's a special steel. It's called Infi steel, INFI.
You guys,
It's supposed to be one of the strongest, hardest steels, rust resistant steels, but hold one of the sharpest edges.
well, it's got a hell of an
ever.
edge on
And
it.
it's made in America.
That's what I'm talking about. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got a good feel in the hand and everything. This will work for survival stuff, but if I had this one, I'd want to have two others. A smaller one to work with, maybe around this size to do stuff with, and then the larger one to chop and do stuff with. Oh, sorry. Like, there we go. Oh, there we go. So, there's no one knife that does everything, guys.
That's true.
You know,
No
so
firearm that does one everything. What do you think about the edge sharpness?
I already touched it. That's absolutely phenomenally sharp, and I'm
You know,
not.
it's a little bit different because you know how some knives you have that like that bevel edging. That seems almost like it's rolled to an edge. That makes sense.
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job, and I don't know what this coating or where it goes paint. You can see it on here.
No, that's a coating.
Yeah,
that's a special coating.
So that's not going to rust on you, which is good because you have. God, you got to hold the knife up. He's talking about this edge, and I'm not going to touch it. When I do, I'll take my thumb across going like this, or I'll take it going back like that. And yeah, it's extremely sharp. You can split with it, but if you're talking about splitting with it and the survival stuff, remember, you can only split from here to here because you got a pound on this end, you got a pound back here. Do I got that up far enough? No. So your wood that you have can only fit right in this area. So this is more. I use this for.
Hold your thought, Random. Hold your thought. Random American, dude. That's an insult, man. Do not compare me to Nancy Pelosi. Okay? All right? Can you do that for me? I'm not elbowing Randy off. I'm pulling Randy over here so I can get him up, and I'm lifting his hat so we can see him. Dude, I mean, that's so nasty. That's nasty, baby.
Did they call
That's
you
nasty?
Nancy?
Yeah, I said Steve's acting like Nancy Pelosi trying to roll Randy up. I said if you compared me like, I don't know, something else bad, but Nancy Pelosi? Oh my gosh, man.
Not even. Steve's my brother, man. Steve's my brother. And also it's got a pounding thing that you can pound, which is good for cracking stuff. You can't nail stuff with it, but you can break stuff with the end there, which is good. So this is a good type of survival knife. It's
What about fighting? Good fighting knife?
The only problem with this with a fighting knife is its weight is heavy. It's not fast enough. If I'm going to use it to block with, if this is my second knife, then yeah.
Okay, what's that? Something American? Now
Yes.
Randy's acting like Nancy Pelosi. He's like waving the knife around.
Okay, so
let me get out of the way.
When I use two knives, if I'm going to use this one for my left hand, yes, it's perfect for that. Okay, I have a different style blade that I like using. I like more of the Gurkha, but it doesn't matter. This is going to block. You're not going to break it. It's going to take it. You got to pay attention to it. By the time you pay attention to this, you're already stuck with the other one. So no, for fighting, but for stabbing, it's got a lot of weight to it. But for my blocking knife, oh hell yeah. But this is good for survival, man. Look at the damn. I don't know where the holes are. See the holes that goes through there? You can attach that. So this thing's badass, dude. And then putting a handle on it, and then you could probably chop a lot of brush and stuff out of your way with it. So it's got it sticks in the hand good. It doesn't slip. There's a lot of good things about
And
that.
that's something that it's almost knives are made by people that just make a knife. They just see that knife, make one like that. See that knife, not really understanding the qualities that the knife that they copied over in China, that a lot of people didn't like that knife because it's certain qualities that didn't work for them. And one of the things I always try to feel with a knife is what is it going to feel like and grip like and hold like when my hands are sweaty or covered in blood. You're in a knife fight, you're going to get cut, okay? You know, I've been in a couple of them, and thank God I'm blessed. I got a few, nicks and cuts and scars, but your hands are always going to be sweaty or bloody, and blood is like oil, okay? Consistency is slippery. I see a lot of these things with these straight handles and this other stuff, and I'm like, man, that thing's going to slip right out of my fucking hand. Yeah. And that's the first thing I do when I pick a knife up, I reach down and grab it, I think, okay, am I going to be holding this when my hands are sweaty and dirty and bloody? And this one right here, yes. some knives have different contours and different types of what do you call this, G10 scales, something like that.
That's
But when you grab this, the bussy, you can feel that you're gonna be able to hang on to this.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I look at the guard. A lot of knives don't give you a proper guard, and you need that so your hand doesn't slip forward. And a lot of people don't think about that. Okay, so I always look for the guard. I prefer my guard to be more like a quarter moon, because when you go forward, okay, most people, you see them, you don't stab like this. When you're fighting, like Randy showed you, you hear thumb up. So you want that area to almost recess and swallow up your thumb. Okay, and even when you rotate underneath, swallow up your thumb, because as most people don't know, but Hollywood, they stab like this. But most people know, in a knife fight, you want to come up, blade up, okay? Because here, you're not going to go down, thrust, and then down. You want to go thrust and then up. That's where the organs are, up into where you're going to split the chest bone. And then the heart, and everything else. So when I pick up a knife, and this one here, the bussy, the handle, the first thing anybody is going to interpret tactile is going to be the handle. And I can tell when Randy first picked this up, when he first put it in his hand, I saw that look on his face like, okay, I want to talk about this. He didn't pick it up and go like, yeah, So,
no.
And he is the TR Nation blade man. Okay, witness this. That's what I'm saying.
outstanding knife. You pronounce that bussy?
Yeah, bussy.
Bussy.
You never met the bussies?
No.
When you came to fifth group?
No.
Okay. Wow. I thought you
You
had.
didn't like me.
You might have been at Bragg. You might have been at Bragg then.
Steve can touch my hat anytime he wants to. This is my brother, man. I love this guy and his family. His family's mine, so he can touch my damn hat. Where my wife almost didn't marry me. There is a difference. If you touch my cowboy hat, there is a way to do that, the way not to. And the first time I met my wife and we were at my brother's place, she grabbed it the wrong way, and I didn't react too well. And I found out later that was almost it. So I'm glad it didn't work. 42 years later, I'm married to the same sweetheart. So didn't say a whole lot for her, I think. Oh, let's see what else we got here. I'll have to let Steve. I'm not a fan of polymer cartridges, except for the fact that it loads up your weight, especially on aircraft and stuff like that, and on vehicles. But I saw Steve work with some stuff when he retired, and I was still working. I saw him at a couple of events, but I don't know how they worked out. So you'll have to wait till Steve comes back from that. The thing, a knife is overrated for bushcraft. You need a guard to stabilize the blood. Stabilizing, blood is very slippery. Like I said, knives aren't for everything. And when I'm using a knife in my left hand, it's not stabbing. It's used differently. And I'm not going to get into my techniques that I use, how I use it, but it's not the same as the one in my right hand. Trying to see what you got here. What is my favorite steel for knives? Dude, I know how to use them. I've been training for a long time. I'm 69. I've been training since I was 18 with them. But I don't know all the steels. D2 is pretty good. It's the craftsmanship that makes it. The the one that would answer that, give you your best answer is going to be Emery because he actually makes knives. But I know the tempering, I know steel is important, but how you temper it and stuff makes a big difference. I'm not that knowledgeable in it. I've never made knives. Horseshoes, yep, I was a farrier, but not knives. What's the right way to grab the cowboy hat? From the top. Never grab the side here where it folds up, if you will. You'll grab it from the top. It's placed on your head, and then you'll position it. But you'll never grab it here. They do that in the movies, but they're Hollywood dumbasses. Don't ever do that to my hat. And they're not flexible. And when you do that, you're going to get oil on it, and you may bend the brim. So it's from the top. But there's a way, even that, how you do that. But remember, cowboy hats are different from every other hat. Never, ever throw a cowboy hat on your bed. It's just like telling a Green Beret good luck. No, we say, I'll see you on the ground. There's things that are bad juju, dudes. Don't do it. No, Emery teaches knife fighting. Man, dude, I'm broke. The reason I still stay up with the knife fighting is because so many parts of my body are broken. I have to have something to help defend myself. Emery's really the best on it. If you were my friend like Steve, I always give pointers on different stuff. And Donnie Bowen, that little animal, I keep a gun always when I'm around Donnie. You got a knife. Him and Emery.
In trouble.
Yeah.
You are at a disadvantage.
The Tomahawk, I mean, with Steve talked, Tomahawk again is that CRKT with the Viking beard on it. It'll come back down around. It's got a good pounding head on it. But again, it's wooden handle wrapped the head up in next to the head with leather so it doesn't splinter if you're chopping stuff. And I usually use some type of string and goop. It's the plumber's goop, and I put it on there so my hand sticks up. You got to find your balance point to it. Oh, I'm trying to find. I don't like the CRKT Warhawk. This is a bearded. Tomahawk type. The Warhawk. If I were going to be throwing it, Tomahawk, yeah. But it's not versatile for doing all kinds of stuff I want to do. And I can't get in and skin and do stuff with it. And I can with the other. Steve, is Crane still conducting testing on carbines 14.5 barrels versus the length of 4?
Say it again.
Right there.
Question, Steve, is Crane still conducting testing on carbine 14.5 inch barrels versus mid-length? Guys, I couldn't tell you. I not being in the service anymore, I don't track anything that's going on at Crane. I mean, I still have good friends there. I have I've been invited to come there a couple of different times on some other things. You know, when I got out and I was doing work for Tiswig, TOS, and they fund Crane. Tiswig funded the, I mentioned in previous episodes, we actually started the HK 416, the 5th group, back with HK when Ernst Mach was the president, and my good friend Jim Schatz was the vice president there, and Jim has passed on, and God bless him. And so Tiswig funded that, so we had 6.8s from HK, we had 6.8s from Barrett, we had 6.8s from someplace else, and they went out to the U.S. Marshal, SAW Group, U.S. Border Patrol, BORTAC, Canadian Special Ops, CANSOF, some other places. and Crane did the workups on those. We did the 338 normal mag light machine gun. We did that through Tiswick, and Crane did the workups on those. So if you guys want to see some interesting stuff, okay, take a pencil, piece of paper, okay, write this down. CTTSO space TSWG space annual workbook. Okay. CTTSO. Oh gosh, I can't remember what those things stand for anymore. They are an RDT&E organization. Okay. Now, we've talked about this before. Military units get operational funds through the DoD budget from Congress. Okay. If you want a new rifle, you can't go out and try to buy a new rifle because you only get operational funds to operate. Okay. To test new rifles and go through new ammunition, new holsters, new body armor, everything requires a testing agency and then RDT&E funds, different from operational funds. Okay. Tiswick, CTTSO Tiswick gets about $155 million a year RDT&E money. Okay. They have what they call subgroups that, give an example, TOS, Tactical Operational Support. Now I think it's Strike Engagement. Anything got to do with killing bad guys, kinetic energy wise. Okay. You've got one subgroup deals with nothing but force protection. Not only force protection for us in the military, but for DoD, for the State Department. I mean, they do RDT&E on all this stuff. So when you look at these vehicles that they have, the Toyota Hilux vehicles we had that look like a Hilux, but it can basically take a 12.7 round. That workup came from Tiswick. UAVs, drones, they're out there in the front lead on that. Anti-drone, they're in the front lead of that. So if you have a company, or you have an idea, and you say, man, I really want to believe that this is something that guys can use and guys can work with, they are the guys to go to. They have a conference every year. I think it's in February. It's called the CTTSO Tiswick APBI. Advanced. Okay, that's the A. The P, APBI. Advanced briefing to industry. So basically what happens is in October, Tiswick will tell all the operational units, what do you need? What do you want, and what do you need that's out there that is not, available to you? Okay? And the units will put in, like we put in for 6.8 SPC, we need a better caliber, but in the same AR-15 platform. We didn't want to go to the 7.62 Winchester platform because it's too heavy. Okay? So you submit that to Tiswick, and then they got a group of soft guys that sit and go through all these different submissions. Okay? The Navy SEALs might submit for some kind of tiny little dive swim motor thing that they can motor around in or something like that. And the Air Force might want some upgrades to their miniguns that make it do this and this and that. Well, it's basically you got all the units, services, and then we vote. Because the SEALs might have submitted something that I said, oh yeah, we like that. We like to get in on that. So the more support you have for the other services, the more. So let's say you get 120 submissions and they cut it down to 45. Okay? Then they take those 45 and they have the APB, Advanced Planning Briefing to Industry. So when all these industry people are sitting there, Lockheed, Boeing, you name them, and all the firearms guys, Knights, of course, you got to mention Nice Armament at first because they're sitting in the front chair. You know, Colt, HK, all those other guys, the ammunition companies. So when they do this APBI, they invite all these guys in from industry. And then they take these 45 things that they've sifted through all the SALT forces and the law enforcement guys, and they present them to industry. This is what we're looking for this fiscal year, and we're putting $107 million against this for RDT&E. So if you've got something like that, are you a small company, you want to belong into a big company, take a pencil, write it down, CTTSO, TISWIG. I think TISWIG might change the name. But just put in CTTSO APBI. Boom. And when you see the book, they put this book out. Everything's there. Every subgroup, every project that they're working on from last fiscal year. Hey, we got this new device for lasing down drones, anti-drone stuff. Or we come up with this new kind of body armor that's 7 pounds less than the other stuff. Or we contracted 3 different companies for this new swim device for the Navy SEALs. It's right there. It's public information. I mean, it's not classified. Well, I mean, they have a classified side, but you're not going to get that. But it's right there, guys. You guys are probably listening to me right now, and you're Googling it, and you're like, oh my gosh, wow. Look at all these inventions. Look at all these different ideas and things that they're doing. It's available to you. I mean, it's taxpayers' money. So, I mean, if you got something, go for it. So, yep, that's that. And so where are we? What's next?
All right, well, it asked me what I'd do if I didn't spend 25 years in Special Forces. One, I was born a warrior, and that's what I was meant to do, but I was a fireman 8 years and a cop total of about 6. I think I would have stayed a fireman if I weren't going to the military, but you got to go into where your heart is, so there really wasn't any choice on that. Also, I'm going to just do a little bit of what Steve talked about. Steve is really good at writing up white papers, which is a justification for what the guys in the team comes to us and want. It was called, Steve started the S5, then it went to S7, now it's S8. And then we go up to TISWIG and stuff like that. He was good at writing up the justifications. And the 3 years I was involved working with Steve doing that, I don't think we ever got denied anything put it, because the way he wrote it up and the way we put it together, and it worked for not only all the branches of service but the law enforcement also. So it wasn't just all firearms, but it's how you write it up and justifying it. And Steve was really particular when the guys come to him, making sure they could justify what they wanted, and then we took it from there. But Steve never, I don't think we ever lost when we submitted some other like than other guys, but we never did. But you asked something about the cartridges, like the nylon stuff. No, not brass.
The polymer.
Polymer. Go ahead. I told him I was there when you were doing a thing when you were retired. I was there for it. All I know is it didn't work out too well on polymer. So if you know more than I do, but I know the lightweightness is good for vehicles and aircraft. But you know more about the polymer than I do.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about that on previous episodes. I'm a big fan of polymer. I believe that's the next evolution. Okay. Wow. It's not revolutionary the way they've tried to sell you or sell the military on the CSAT ammunition, telescoping ammunition, for I think they're about
It's off camera. They don't know where. Yeah.
$375 million into this thing, and guys, come on, ammo. You've been hunting and you've been shooting and everything your whole life. All this really is a different type of design for a shotgun sable round. Okay, $375 million for this stuff, and those are the kind of things that I fought against when I was working the Combat Development Force Modernization. And what Randy was saying about submitting for that kind of funding, and not being turned down, because I always did my homework. I was ahead of the game always, because you have to understand that job description, that duty position, as the FISO, the AFISO, in the S8 is a 2-year assignment. Okay. I took that assignment my last year and a half on my way out to retirement when 9/11 happened. Okay. And, the group commander, Colonel Mulholland, he called me in and said, hey, I got your retirement paperwork. He said, am I going to sign it? I said, I don't know what you mean. I said, that's what it's there for. He goes, Steve, they knocked down the World Trade Center. We're going in. This is the thing you've been waiting for your whole career. I'm looking at him like, okay. So I got to talk to my wife about it, And so I talked to my wife, and she supports me all the time. Like I said previously, awesome. So we went into Afghanistan, did our thing. He said, Steve, we'll be back in 9 months. So now I'm 21 years in. And then we came back. I said, hey, I'm going to retire. He said, Steve, we're going back into Iraq. I know you. I said, stop. I said, okay, 9 more months. And then one day I came in the office and Jay Johnson said, I said, wait, Jay, what's going on, man? He said, your desk is cleaned off. He says, yeah. He said, you're 4 months past the time you said you're going to stop. I looked up at the calendar, and all I realized was Afghanistan, Iraq, and everything else that went after that. Now I'm at 30 years. I was getting out at 20, 21. Now I'm looking at my calendar. I've been here for 30 years. So basically, I held a 2-year position for 12 years. And I got really, really, really damn good at it. Because I have enough scars and sucking chest wounds from all the people that would blow my ass up when I didn't know what I was doing. Okay? And believe me, those successes, they came from the previous ones that were not successful. I'm going to give you a good example. You guys know what PT is? Physical training for the military? Okay? It's every day. Every freaking day. Ain't no off season like the NFL and the NBA and the MLB and all. Ain't no off season. Okay? 6:15, you're there. Oh, I'm a fresh out of the Q course, 22-year-old guy. I'm ready to go every morning. I'm like, man, I'm out here at 6:30 in the morning. This is my 28th year. I'm 36. And we're running what? 6 miles to the golf course and back. That's 12 miles. Oh yeah, we do that every Friday. I'm like, my gosh, man. It's got to be something. So basically, what you have happen is when you get there in the morning, it's like fall in, account for everybody, and then this morning we're doing nothing but calisthenics out on the field. I said, okay. So I come in there one morning, and my boss, Major, he walks up to me, he goes, hey Steve, I go, what's up, sir? He goes, don't worry about that email. It's 6:30 in the morning. Or 6:25, something like that. What email? He said, oh, no, don't worry about it. So we get the formation over, and everybody's going over to do whatever they're doing, and the Group XO walks by. He says, Steve, you got a minute? I said, sir, of course, you're Group XO. I always got a minute. He goes, hey, don't worry about that email. And I'm sitting there thinking, what fucking email? Okay, so I go over to my office. I'm not going to run no 4 miles with this stuff on my brain. I run over to my office, pop the computer, pull up the emails, and I got a bunch of emails from that person, people all over the unit and everything else. I'm looking for anybody that's either my company commander or higher. So I go through all these emails, then I see an email from the group commander. I was like, okay, open that one up. I opened it up. And one thing I learned when you open up an email, I look at the email trail. So I didn't even read what he was saying, because then I saw it was just not just to me. I was CC, but it was to like 3 or 4 other people. And I went all the way down to the bottom. And there was an email to the 5th Group Commander, the full-bird colonel, from the lady that ran the USAFIC Special Forces Command, 2-star general, force modernization. and she's addressing the 1-star at Yusufik, the deputy commander, and the chief of staff, and she CCs them, but she's addressing my group commander, okay? And she CCs everybody else. I'm like, what is this? I get to the bottom, and it says, Colonel Brownlee, we here at Special Forces Command, along with the chief of staff and the Force Modernization Office, want to know who is the commander of the 5th Special Forces Group. You or Sergeant First Class Holland? That's how my day begun. Oh my gosh. I'm sitting there. I didn't want to read the rest of it. I was just, everybody came from PT. Jay said, hey man, what's going on? I see your PT. I said, Jay, I'm assuming by tomorrow, you're going to be the NCOIC A FISO or the Group S7 Force Modernization Office. I'm out of here. Probably PFC tomorrow. He goes, why? I let him read the email, and he looked at me. He goes, he couldn't even laugh. He couldn't make a joke about it. All right? You can't joke about when the Deputy Commander General and this lady asked the group commander, who's running your group? You or Steve Holland? So, and I would tell you this right here. To the day I die, in God's grace and blessing, Colonel Brownlee is one of the greatest Special Forces commanders I'd ever served with. Guys, I served the 5th Group for 24 years. Some of you guys out there aren't even 20 years old. I was in one unit for 24 years. They didn't even want to let me out of the Army and retire because they said my paperwork was wrong. So you couldn't have been in 2 units in 30 years. 82nd Airborne, then 5th Special Forces Group. They said, that's impossible. Army doesn't do it like that. But then they looked it up and said, you're right. Colonel Brownlee replied to everybody, said, we have not discussed this with Sergeant Holland yet. However, reading what you put down and speaking with Major Byrne, I think Major Byrne, of the Force Modernization Office, there was a meeting held, an integration product team meeting on firearm systems held up at Crane last week, involving input into soft weapons and SOP mod programs. According to Major Byrne, there was no representative from USAC or Special Forces Command there. So, by not being there, by proxy, Sergeant Holland is the next man up. And having been involved with this program from the beginning, it would seem he would be the right person to be there and make those decisions, since your people were not there. We bring in men, NCOs into Special Forces because we don't want somebody that's going to walk lockstep like regular Army soldiers. He said, we want people that are intuitive and visionary. What he did was exactly what a Special Forces NCO is supposed to do. Brownlee out. I read that day, I was like, wow. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Wow. I saw Colonel Brownlee at the AUSA about 4 or 5 years ago, which he had been out of 5th Group since like 1999, something like that. It's the first time I've seen him. And I see him walking around in his suit and everything else. I said, Colonel Brownlee, Colonel Brownlee. He turned around and he goes, you know when people walk up to you at the shot show and everything else, you kind of like, hey, how you doing? You kind of get close so you look at the name tag so you can see what the name. And I was like, Colonel Brownlee, hey, sir. And he was 25 feet from me. He goes, Sergeant Holland. I was like, hey, sir. He's like, how you doing? I was like, oh my gosh, how things going? Blah, blah, blah. I'm telling him all the things. Working on the new so-called vehicle,
The flyer?
Yeah, flyer defense, GMV 1.1, and putting the minigun on and the 30 millimeter from the Apache. We'll talk about that later. And we were just talking, chatting it up. I said, hey, sir, you're one of the greatest Special Forces commanders, and one of the greatest commanders I've ever served with. And having been there for 24 years, I served under 12, okay? They get 18 months to 2 years. He goes, well, it's not hard, everybody's. I said, sir, do you remember that one time when you got that email from the deputy commander of Yusufik, and the lady was asking, who was in charge, me or you. And he kind of looked at me and goes, oh, yeah. He said, I remember that. And he said, I said, sir, you don't know how I felt in my heart when I read your email that day. And I was packing my shit. I'm done. I'm going to the 101st. Be down in the motor pool. Washing tires or something. And I read what he wrote, and I was like, oh my God. And then he said, Brownlee out. You don't say, when you transmit between people in communications with something for them, they're going to follow up with it, you say over. Blah, 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 over. That's letting them know I'm done, so say what you got next. Okay? When you say blah, 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 out, that means you're off the net. Don't say me nothing because I'm not here. I'm off the net. He said Brownlee out. I was like, wow. And I saw him in the USA. I told him, I said, sorry. And I actually found a copy of that email one time. I was thinking to myself, I said, man, I need to put it somewhere where you know, like all my other stuff so I can remember where it is. But anyway,
Susan Richard, she's checking out, so probably you're already gone, but love you, Susan. Take care.
Where are we at? How long have we been on?
It's 9:05 right now.
Oh, okay. Cardinal goes to like 9:30. Were you able to do that? No? Okay.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. We have another video for you guys. Reference the Aries Defense Fight Light AR-15 lever action. It kind of gives you a couple more videos, and Nick is going to put it into the chat once we roll out. So if you guys don't have anything else for me or Randy, do you think changing the name of Fort Bragg? Do we think changing the name of Fort Bragg is a bad idea? No comment.
Fuck yes! A bad idea. Son of a bitch. Stop this
No
friggin' woke crap bullshit.
See, now I feel like Carl. Because whenever I'm over here foaming, right? And Carl is over here like, Steve. Yeah. So, hey, talk to him, Randy.
Nah,
Randy,
don't tell me
look at
what
the green light.
Don't tell me what to think. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Look, man, we're all grown ups. That's all bullpucky, man. So, they're making problems where there isn't any, and I disagree with that. So, in our careers, Steve and mine, all the guys who served in, we looked at each other as being brothers. We didn't look at our goddamn fucking races. Can you imagine doing that when your bullets are flying everywhere? What the fuck you guys thinking? Hell no. He's as much my brother as anybody else, man. That didn't changing the name of Bragg. What does that accomplish? That's just some bullshit hippie.
I'll tell you a funny story, real quick. I was talking about the sniper locker earlier. So, I get 90 days to start sniper school in Fort Campbell. I get this humongous prison, okay? Almost all the doors in the prison are electronic, okay? So, as you go past the front entrance, the admin and everything else, as you get to the back, you start seeing the iron bars, the doors, and they close. And you have to have this, hit this electric button, and it opens. Then you go in the back, and there's cells. So this place has been abandoned for like 15 years. So Sergeant Davis was assigned to me, I guess about maybe 3 weeks after they gave me the building. I told him, I said, I need people. I can't run training in 90 days. I need people, right? So they gave me Sergeant Davis, and then they gave me PFC from a support company, and he was our deuce and a half driver, because we were hauling all this old wood and all this furniture, all this other stuff off, and basically the cells were open, the mattresses were like you can imagine after 15 years, okay? And the lights back there in the back didn't work, and you had to go through the area where they used to put people in the steel boxes built into the wall, the isolation area. So we're back there doing some stuff, you know, pulling some stuff out with flashlights and stuff. And the PFC truck driver, he comes up in front of me. He goes, Sergeant Holland. I said, hey, what's up? He goes, something's wrong with Sergeant Davis. I go, okay, what's wrong with him? He goes, I don't know, but he's yelling. I go, okay, let's go. So I grab a flashlight. He and I, we meander through the cage, bam, open this thing up, and go past the isolation thing. Now we're kind of like where all the main cells were. And you see a little bit of daylight coming in, and I see Davis over there, and he's got a flashlight, and it's waving around. It's right here, and he's saying something. I can't quite make it out because it's echoing off all this other stuff. So I turn on my flashlight. I run up to him. I go, hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? And he turns around and shines the light on me, and he picks up his right leg and shines it on his boot, and he's shaking his boot toward me, saying, get it off, get it off, get it off. And I shine my light down, and there's a rattlesnake hanging in his boot while he's shaking, trying to get the boot off. And the first thing I'm thinking, don't shake that shit toward me. So I'm trying to move out of the way, and I turn around and tell the PFC to like go get a fire extinguisher, right? Because this snake, you know, it's cold, you know, with the snake. I turn around, and he's not there. Dude was gone. I had the flashlight. He didn't. He followed me into that maze. When he saw that boot kicking in there with that rattlesnake hanging on to it, he was gone. I got around, got a fire extinguisher. We hit the snake for as long as we could. Then we, knocked it off. Then took the fire extinguisher and smashed his head. And then I took his boot off, and it didn't penetrate his skin. So we get back out to the front, past the big desk with the electric button, down the hallway, past all the admin offices, out the door, and PFC so-and-so is standing out there with the MPs. I said, how the hell did you get out of there without a light? He said, I don't know, Sergeant. He said, but I wasn't having none of that. So that was one of the funniest things that I ever saw. Dude, don't kick your leg with this 5-foot rattlesnake. I mean, just hissing and calling, and it's rattling going. Don't be kicking that toward me in the dark. Are you crazy? So anyway, that was an interesting story. What you got, Nick? So, guys, we are past our time. As always, I enjoy chatting with you guys, talking with you guys. TR Nation. Let's show that video one more time, Nick. Can we?
Yeah.
We're going to show that video to you one more time because you need to see it. Look at that. As Colonel Brownlee said, this is Steve Holland, and I'm out.
Incoming right there.